Moso children don't live with their fathers. They're raised by their mothers and their mothers' families. Once the media started touting Moso society as a free love culture, hundreds of thousands of tourists began coming. Most of the tourists are Chinese, from the Han majority like me.
那你们汉人就不一样了。要是有个小孩生长在大城市里面，他要是只有妈妈没有爸爸，人家肯定要说他没有爸爸的野孩子嘛。然后在这里生一个这样的小孩，谁会这样说呀？都不是一样的。
I first met Cha Cuo in a little restaurant bar along the lake. She also has the only internet bar in the village. We became friends. She said I could call her tomboy as others did. And she took me to see a Moso performance. Singing and dancing are an important part of Moso culture. Now they sing and dance for the tourists every night, unless the rain is too heavy. But what attracts the tourists most are the exotic possibilities of free love.
最多的问题肯定是，你走婚了没有？走了几个？晚上我要跟你走婚。我最讨厌的就一张口就是能不能走婚呀？晚上我们可不可以去走婚呀？好像很自以为是那种。每次我都是说，你觉得你那么有魅力呀？你有那个本事吗？他们就不说话了。
Cha Cuo says Moso women can have as many sexual relationships as they want. But some tourists insist on taking advantage of their traditions.
走婚要有感情的，最起码你要认识。然后他就说没关系，他可以付钱。他说要多少钱，然后当时我很生气，然后就马上就打了他2个耳光嘛。
The women's kingdom also attracts women tourists who are interested in the available men.
摩梭的小伙子很亮很帅，他们会骑马、摔跤，然后太阳晒得黑黑的，非常的强壮，非常的那个勇猛 strong。
This is Zhang's second visit here in a few months. She says 8 Moso men have fallen in love with her.
我们汉族人表达爱情的话会有很多麻烦，他不会像摩梭人哇很奔放。我喜欢你，我会喝酒，我会跳舞，然后喝酒跳舞以后我有情绪，我就表达我喜欢你，我要跟你走婚。我喜欢非常的直接。
Today, each of the 70 families in the Luoshui village owns at least a hotel or restaurant. They entertain the tourists together and split the money equally. Since tourism began here in the early 90s, Luoshui has become the wealthiest Moso village. But Cha Cuo says, if I want to see the real Moso culture, I have to go deeper into the mountains. With the help of a local monk, I headed to a remote Moso village. "7 hours on horseback, up and down the hills. Only the locals know these roads."
Yeah.
High on the mountain, we found Wujiao village. About 200 Moso live here. When we arrived, unannounced, a family immediately took us in. In Wujiao, Everyone works for the common good. Families choose the most capable women to run the household. Men help with the farm work. In Warsaw, there's no abandonment. The old don't have to live alone, and the young are taken care of by the big families. Unlike other rural areas in China, where many girl babies are abandoned, here, the young Warsaw women are proud of being girls.
最后女孩子，什么都是做得来就好嘛。
Traditionally, Warsaw women can't wear dresses or skirts until they turn 13, when they go through a grown-up ceremony. Then they can start dating, looking for men they would like to father their children. And they get their own rooms. La Cuo was excited to show me her room and everything in it.
自己绣，要像原先的我学的时候种嘛。
这个是你。
可以呢。
这个都是家里面给你的，妈妈给你的吗？
妈给我的。你全部都喜欢呀，这个都是我喜欢呀。So heavy.
I've never had that many rings on my fingers. La Cuo says she loves to put on rings, but she will never wear a wedding ring.
机会还不好玩嘛，在一起。吵吵闹闹的，一天闹过去闹去了嘛，他们。
Despite the Mwaaswa's reputation for sexual promiscuity among the women, families of men and women in the more private villages form deeply loving relationships without the binds of marriage. Join me after the break to follow the story of Cha Chao and her long-term partner, a man who came to town for sex and stayed for love.
In Mauritania.
Welcome back to Witness. Mwaaswa's popularity with men from out of town has turned some villages into tourist traps. But in the more isolated villages, local women still find this way of life empowering.
Asking questions about sexual relationships in front of men is an absolute taboo in Warsaw culture. But women can talk about the subject when men are not around.
我们这里面是白天的那些出去啊，一定要女孩子不喜欢男孩子就给他唱歌嘛。我不喜欢你的也是唱给他听嘛。
And at night, she says if the woman is interested, she would quietly open the door for the man.
天天住他家里面。女孩子家里面一般都是日不出来，全部睡觉的时候，就她悄悄咪咪就回去嘛。
La Cuo hasn't tried this yet. She says she'll wait until she's in love. On this plateau, La Cuo and her uncles herd yaks for the family. In Warsaw, uncles are much more important than fathers. La Cuo says she grew up with at least 8 uncles.
我的叔叔比爸爸都好嘛。家里面一起不在的时候，奶奶那些全部都看嘛，女孩子。嘛，他的妈妈一定要出去劳动那些，就一定要他叔叔呀、奶奶呀，那些去一定要看他们。我以前小的时候，一般都是我叔叔那些我。给我东西那些一般都是我叔叔的，和我姨那些没给我长大嘛。
In the past, Warsaw men took long caravan trips over muddy roads filled with leeches. Now, there are paved roads, the trips are shorter, and men spend more time at home. Luzu Zhacuo, like most Warsaw men, stays with his own family, taking care of his sister's children.
什么情况？我们都是姥姥的，我们姥姥他们照顾我们，就是他孩子了，他呢就去照顾他。
你不管？
我都是随便的衣服啊，穿的随便的，一点点就去。 我们送到哪里就很好耍，到处都可以玩。
The women work harder. Whenever there is a spare moment, they start weaving.